This video is a retrospective on the more than 1,500 lives lost since the 2019 Department of Justice, or DOJ, notice regarding Alabama's prisons. On February 18, 2026, hundreds of people gathered to grieve and show resolve. This was a memorial for preventable deaths that occurred after the state was explicitly warned. As one advocate said, "Don't waste your pain." On April 2, 2019, the U.S. Department of Justice put Alabama on notice. The DOJ reported a flagrant disregard for the rule of law, noting the men's prisons were unconstitutionally violent and deadly and failed to protect prisoners from prisoner-on-prisoner violence. The cost of inaction has been over 1,500 lives in Alabama Department of Corrections, or ADOC, custody since the 2019 notice. Deaths have reached record highs, with 325 fatalities in 2023 alone. For many families, there was no official call. They learned of their loved ones' deaths via social media. One mother of a slain prisoner said, "They told me he belonged to the state." Systemic failure 1 is a gladiator culture, driven by a 182% occupancy rate, 30% staffing levels, and officer complicity. Incarcerated people are reportedly told, "If you get beat up, don't call me for help." Systemic failure 2 is the contraband economy. Despite visitation being closed during the pandemic, drugs like fentanyl and "flakka" flooded in, implicating staff corruption. There were 72 drug-related deaths between March 2020 and mid-2022. Systemic failure 3 is death before parole, reflecting the graying of Alabama prisons. In 2023, 64 people serving life with parole died in prison, while only 25 were granted parole. Since 2000, the population of prisoners aged 60 and over has increased by 64.8%. The $1.2 billion solution includes the Elmore Mega Prison, the most expensive in U.S. history. 5 years of prison spending cost $5 billion, while combined mental health, human resources, and public health spending was only $2.3 billion. The world is watching, highlighted by the HBO documentary, The Alabama Solution. A filmmaker noted, "We investigate a killing in real time and are able to see what we believe is a cover-up unfolding." There is a culture of obfuscation, where the cause of death can be classified as natural, even for blunt force trauma and stabbings. A DOC does not have a centralized system to track or review prisoner mortalities. Voices of the coalition include Communities Not Prisons, Alabamians for Fair Justice, and Alabama Appleseed. These organizations fill the gap, providing support and tracking deaths. As one quote says, "We are not just mourning, we are organizing." The demands prioritize humanity over hardware, focusing on 3 areas: decarceration, accountability, and rehabilitation. This includes releasing the elderly, independent oversight, and shifting funds from construction to re-entry and treatment. Construction is not the solution. Since the warning, 1,500 lives have been lost. The question remains, how many more will we count next year? We acknowledge the sources used for this video, including U.S. Department of Justice reports, the Alabama Appleseed Center for Law and Justice, the HBO documentary The Alabama Solution, and the Alabama Political Reporter.